You wake up on a Tuesday. Nothing dramatic happens. You go to work. You check your phone. Your salary is there. Your bills are waiting. By evening, the money is already gone. Not stolen, not wasted, just allocated. Rent, car payment, credit card minimum, subscription you forgot you had, another easy installment. And somehow, despite doing everything you were told was responsible, you feel poorer every year. That's not a personal failure. That's the middle-class debt trap. And right now, it's tighter than it's ever been. Here's why this matters now. For decades, the promise was simple. Get educated, get a stable job, buy a house. Upgrade your lifestyle slowly. Everything will work out. But in the last 15 to 20 years, one quiet shift changed the math. Wages slowed down. Costs didn't. Housing, education, healthcare, transportation, they didn't just rise, they detached. So the gap had to be filled somehow. Debt stepped in. Not dangerous-looking debt, friendly debt. Debt with rewards points. Debt with 0% intro offers. Debt with smiling ads telling you that you deserve this. That's how the trap works. It doesn't slam shut, it closes one soft click at a time. Let's break the system down, step by step. First, income. Most middle-class incomes rise slowly, if at all. A 3% raise feels like progress until rent goes up 8%, insurance goes up 12%, groceries quietly creep every month. You're running harder, the treadmill is speeding up faster. Now comes the gap. Not a crisis gap, a lifestyle gap. You're not buying yachts, you're buying normal things. A reliable car, a slightly better phone, a vacation once a year so you don't burn out. Each purchase is reasonable. Together, they're lethal. Because they're rarely paid in cash, they're sliced into payments. And this is the key mechanism most people miss. Payments feel small, totals are invisible. A $30,000 car doesn't feel like $30,000, it feels like $480 a month. A $1,200 phone doesn't feel expensive. It feels like $50 added to your plan. Debt doesn't hurt when you take it on. It hurts later, quietly, persistently. Now add interest. Not dramatic loan shark interest, polite interest. Credit cards at 18 to 24%. Auto loans stretched to 7 years. Buy now, pay later stacking in the background. Here's the uncomfortable math. If you carry a $10,000 credit card balance at 20% and only pay the minimum, you can spend over a decade paying it off, and you'll pay nearly double. But the system never frames it that way. It frames it as affordability. Can you manage this monthly payment? That question ignores the future completely, and the future is where the trap tightens, because debt changes behavior. When a big chunk of your income is pre-claimed, your options shrink. You can't quit a bad job. You can't move easily. You can't take risks. You become stable, not free. There's a quiet irony here. The middle class is often labeled financially responsible, but responsibility in this system often means being perfectly optimized for lenders, predictable income, on-time payments, long-term obligations. You're not failing the system, you're succeeding at the wrong game. Now let's talk about the hype versus reality. The hype says debt builds your life. Good debt versus bad debt. Leverage, building credit. There's truth there, but the reality is more fragile. Debt only works if income rises faster than obligations. That used to be normal. It isn't anymore. When wages stall and debt compounds, the math flips. Instead of debt helping you climb, it becomes a ceiling. You can feel this in timelines. In the 1990s, a typical middle-class household could pay off a home before retirement. Today, many will carry mortgages, car loans, and revolving debt into their 60s. Not because they overspent once, because the baseline cost of normal life required borrowing. And this is where the trap becomes generational. Parents borrow to maintain stability. Kids inherit the expectations, not the assets. Higher education costs more. Housing costs more. Starting life now begins in the negative. Debt isn't a bridge anymore. It's the road. Zoom out further. An economy built on consumer debt needs people to keep borrowing. Growth depends on it, which means reducing debt isn't encouraged culturally. It's tolerated, sometimes quietly discouraged. Paying things off early doesn't generate fees. Living below your means doesn't boost GDP. So the system rewards spending and punishes caution with stagnation. Again, not malicious, just structural. And here's the most uncomfortable part. Most people inside the middle-class debt trap don't feel trapped. They feel busy. Busy paying, busy maintaining, busy keeping everything from slipping, until one disruption hits: a layoff, an illness, a rate hike, a rent increase, and suddenly the margin that didn't exist is painfully obvious. No villain appears, no collapse montage, just a slow realization that freedom was traded for normalcy, one payment at a time. So here's the question that doesn't have a clean answer. If the middle class is defined by stability, and stability now requires permanent debt, what happens when debt stops being affordable? Because that's not a personal question. That's a systemic one. And it's still unfolding.